I'm a Nigerian homeless transsexual on the street, and I've been targeted by Black Americans, including um, um, the mayor, Eric Adams, and Al Sharpton, in his form of revenge, abuse, and attack. And there's been all kinds of allegations made against this Eric Adams that's very corrupt. That was the Turkish bribery case against him while Biden arrested him, former President Biden arrested him last year. I'm witness to some of the bribery operations. I was one of the victims. And it's just so numerous to list. But right now it's using his police, this Eric Adams, is using his police to target me as a Nigerian homeless. The Nigerian embassy wouldn't help me either. You know, and my life is a danger. And I even have witnesses like the New York Daily News. You know, they said it's been using its police to try to beat up the Daily News workers, and some of his assistants would try to rough the Daily News workers up, and then they would his police assistant. Then when the Daily News made that allegation against Eric Adams and his police assistant, they denied it, that it didn't occur. But me personally, I criticize this Eric Adams a lot, and I've been noticing anytime I try to read the Daily News in the library, some Black Americans will try to jump me. The NYPD officers in the library, especially the Black American ones, would deny me access to the library, like Brooklyn Library, Eastern Parkway. They'll tell me to stop wearing a mask, that my face is scary, and things like that. They just, find ways to accost me and kick me out of the library. And also in the early part of the Eric Adams administration, I was one of his critics, and I was getting beat up by Black Americans. As soon as he was declared the winner in December 2021, or thereabouts, some Black Americans jumped me, jumped me in front of close to Atlantic Avenue basketball stadium, and chased me across the street. I ran into a white guy's store, and these kids were kicking me, and they had like a metal pipe. They wanted to hit me with a metal pipe, and the guy called 911. The white guy, I called 911 also, and there was somebody recording it. They were just beating me for fun, or to give it to somebody that would pay these kids later. So I noticed the kids were recording it. Some of the people with the kids were recording the attack, and they wouldn't stop the kids from hitting me. I was one of the critics of Eric Adams. I told people not to vote for him. And as soon as he won the election, some Black American kids attacked me. I was using a phone booth like this in close to Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Stadium, around December 2021, or whatever time that election held. I believe it was December 2021 he won, or November rather 2021 he won. So by December 2021, I was getting beat up by Black American kids as I was using the phone booth. And so I ran across the street into a store. It was a multi-lane street, and I hid in the store. The kids broke the glass into the store. They were trying to get in, and the police wouldn't arrest the kids. And soon after that, anytime I try to go to, Eric Adams became mayor. Anytime I try to go to the library in Queens to read newspapers during that COVID, the police would stop me on the E-train and tell me to get off the train, that I'm homeless, and embarrass me in front of everybody. This Eric Adams said it was going to purge homeless, and they would embarrass me, try to make me look like I'm mentally ill. And when I get to the library in Queens, the Black Americans, while I'm reading the newspaper, will be calling me nigger. If I try to use the bathroom, the security guard will prevent me from using the bathroom. I have diarrhea. And they were just abusing me. Sometimes when I'm using the bathroom, they would come and jump me. There's somebody lost their cell phone in the Queens Library, in the bathroom, and I would call 911. Like, look, we need to call the police if you lost your cell phone. Then when the police get there, the person to say they found the phone. I'm like, I believe they're just making false accusation about me, because why does it take me calling 911 for them to find the phone? And how do you lose your phone in the bathroom, only to find it after I called 911? So they were just scaring me from using the bathroom, from coming to the library. And I heard this Eric And finally, the truth came out that Eric Adams' assistant, a Chinese woman, was giving $100 to a journalist. Her name is Greco, Chinese woman called Greco, was giving $100 to a journalist that is, and people thought that was a bribe, and Eric Adams and the woman denied it. In Chinese culture, you give people money to show you like them, So they said he's been worried about the press reporting stuff about him, and also, Eric Adams' family friend Eric Garner was trying to help me on Staten Island when the police took my home wrongfully. And the police went and took Eric Garner dead on July 17th. My birthday is July 8th. At that time, I used to go to Black American Church or thereabout that time. I used to go to Black American Church, Bishop Jordan Ministries, and he used to say that God always adds numbers. So the number 17 would be the same thing as 8. So I was born on July 8th, and the police killed Eric Garner July 17. So 1 plus 7 is 8. It's like they killed him on my birthday to send a terroristic message to me. And even Thomas Darling also said that this Eric Adams is corrupt and he's using his office for racketeering and to solicit bribe with the NYPD. And one of the NYPD commissioner, whose name was Caban, came to an area in Manhattan called Tribeca by Chambers and Church Street. That area, like 2 blocks away from that place, they bought him in the bathroom. People would bring their children and the children would be calling me Dada, Mama. So I'll be telling the kids, please don't call me Mama, Dada. And they'll be harassing with their kids. Sometimes they leave the nannies would leave the kid, abandon the kid by the entrance to the bathroom and hide in the store. So I'll call the police, like, they can't be abandoning little children around me. That's called child abandonment. And the police would tell me, I should stop, making a report out of everything. I should just ignore it. I'm like, no. When the crime is occurring around me, I have to report it. Then, so they were trying to make me like I was the problem. There was another occasion where I used to go to the Teardrop Park and would have little kids hit me with stones, snowballs, and stuff, like they're trying to provoke me in a fight. And then when I try to use the bathroom at the Teardrop Park, the Black American workers there would threaten me that I'm going to get killed. So I'll call 911 on them, and it's me the police will ban from the park. Even though I'll tell them there's police cameras, and I have recorded evidence, and they will ban me from using the bathroom. It's like the police was trying to orchestrate some violence between me and little children, I guess, to get me killed. By the police said I was hostile to the little kids, and so the kids can inherit any money, because I was trying to sue the police for taking my home on Staten Island, and they went and killed Eric Garner, and my mother also, our daughters framed her as crazy and locked her up in Bellevue Hospital, psychiatric hospital, and that got my mother angry. My mother said her daughters violently for her. I just trying to make money and kill my mother early, because the daughters live in Pennsylvania, and me and my mother used to live on Staten Island, but the police evicted me and my mother wrongfully. So my mother said her daughters were monitoring the case from Pennsylvania. My mother went to live with her daughters after that. After the police took my mother's home on Staten Island, I killed my friend that was helping me and my mother with the lawsuit papers so that we can get our home back. So my mother went to live with the daughters in Pennsylvania, Bologna and Florida, and my mother said her daughters were trying to kill her also, so they could inherit the money, because they felt the lawsuit I was filing was going to bring me and my mother money. And she said our daughters were jealous because they didn't live with us on Staten Island, so they couldn't get any money from the police. My mother's daughters have their own house in Pennsylvania, so that my mother was said they were abusing her. So my mother fled to New York. I went to Bellevue Hospital, and the daughters came there days later. Even though my mother didn't tell the daughters what hospital she was in, so my mother was shocked, like, who is telling her children where she's at? Because my mother said the daughters are part of a gang, especially in a Bologna, like a narcotic gang. And so my mother said that Bologna would give her like food laced with like drugs or some antifreeze fluid, and the food would make her have bloody diarrhea and constrict her heart. So my mother got on the Greyhound to come to New York on around May 13, 2015. And my mother said as soon as she got on the Greyhound, she was about to have a heart attack real bad. So she had to tell the bus driver to pull over and call the ambulance. But my mother started eating aspirin, and my mother was afraid the ambulance would take her back to Pennsylvania, and she didn't want to be near the daughters because she didn't want her daughter's gang to tell the doctor to kill her. So my mother told the ambulance, told the Greyhound to keep driving to New York. So the Greyhound bus driver may be my witness if he remembers the incident. May 13, 2015, there was a Nigerian woman on the bus that told you to stop the Greyhound bus to call the ambulance, and then she told you to keep driving, and you drove her to New York. And nobody contacted me. The Greyhound bus didn't contact me. So my mother was in the hospital a long time. I was trying to call her. She wouldn't answer the phone. And when I finally spoke to her, then she told me her daughters have already came and was bothering her, and she was trying to hide from them in the hospital in New York. But they came to the hospital. She didn't know who told them the address, and they were, trolling her. And soon after that, the hospital went and locked my mother up in the psych unit. And on the way there, my mother was so angry because they were framing her as crazy. My mother said those were just trolling her with everything. Even when she was in Pennsylvania, they would just troll her. I said, well, at one point, one of the daughter bought Flora, put my mother in the backseat of the car and went and hit somebody's house, like on purpose to scare my mother to death, because my mother has a heart condition, and hoping my mother would just fall down and die in the car. But my mother survived this. It's so many things like that. One of Flora's husband, Ayinde, is a military guy for the U.S. military, and it's Buffy, and he would try to punch my mother also, just to scare her to death. So, so they just scared my mother and try to make her die and make it look like it was the death was due to the NYPD evicting my mother, and that caused her to have a heart attack and high blood pressure. So when that didn't work, my mother said the doors Bolali was putting drug in my mother's food, which caused my mother to flee. And when she got to New York, those daughters, Bolali and Flora, came to New York also, and came to the hospital, and my mother was so shocked. Like, why would anyone help their daughters to violate HIPAA law? Because under HIPAA law, it's a federal law that someone's medical information is private, and whatever hospital they're in is private. Only the person getting treated can waive their medical records and tell you privacy and give you information about their medical treatment. So she was like, our daughters invaded the hospital against her will and got my mother killed. So I've been trying to sue Bellevue. So the NYPD has been trying to get people to steal the money from me, so they'll have little kids trying to fight me, to make it look like I'm a gay transsexual, and I was attacking little kids in the bathroom, and, and have the NYPD kill me, and so the kids would get the money and claim they're damaged, and they need support from my state till they become 21, and even the NYPD Commissioner Caban came to the area and said he came to that neighborhood to let the people in that neighborhood know that the NYPD is around to protect kids, if anybody needs protection for their kids. So the Black Jamaican nannies and some of the nannies would always try to start a fight with me when they're carrying the baby. One of them would telling me, are you a man or a woman? I always see in the women's bathroom. I'm like, I'm sorry, you keep asking me the same question. Stop worrying about my gender. And she'll keep asking me the same question every day she sees me anywhere on the street. So they were trolling me and trying to start a fight with me, hiring kids all around that neighborhood to throw stones at me and stuff. And then there came the part where the kids were calling me Dada, Mama anywhere I go. I'm like, please don't call me Dada, Mama. I'm not your parent. So there's a law in America that the court can assign you as the adopted parent of any child if they believe you had a relationship with the child and you were acting like a parent to the child. It's called parentage by estoppel, because the court will lean over backwards and make you the parent, even though you're not the biological parent. If they believe you have some kind of you had some kind of relationship with the child, and the child believed you were the father or mother. So I believe that some of the criminal gangs is trying to have the NYPD kill me and claim I had a relationship with neighborhood kids. I was acting like their parent and have these kids inherit my estate. Then even the Reverend Al Sharpton, he knows the Arigona family, and I guess they're jealous that Arigona was trying to help me with my court papers, and the police was trying to kill Arigona on a day that's like my birthday, under the spiritual guardianship of a church I was going to around that time, Bishop Jordan Ministry, that said July 17th is like July 8th, because God always had double digit and arrived at a single digit. So I would listen to the Al Sharpton show, and it would make, on the video podcast on YouTube, it's National Action Network show, on Saturday. Sometimes I watch it on YouTube. And they'll be saying some of you don't like to listen to your elders. You think you can just get civil rights. You say no, civil rights is a form of, there has to be continuity. You don't know everything. And this is why you can't get no civil rights in America. You got to listen to us, the elders, and let us teach you this civil rights game. So you got to listen. There's a game, there's a way you play this civil rights stuff. So this is why you've been failing, and he said it's now organizing a march on August 28th, 2025. So I thought I was suspicious because my birthday is July 8th and they killed Eric Garner on July 17th, which is 1.78. Bishop Jordan, our Sharpton goes to that church also. I go to that church also in the prayers. And that Bishop Jordan said the number 8 is a very divine number, that God always does great things on 8. It's a very spiritual number. So I guess my birthday being July 8th, and the police when I killed Ghana July 17th, I guess our Sharpton must feel I must be a very spiritual person also. So I think he wants to have some form of relationship with me, but it's some kind of fraudulent relationship with me. So he was organizing a march on August 28, 2025. It says coming to Wall Street. I get attacked in that area. Eric Adam was given the Staten Island ferry workers a lot of money. Their managers like $1 million a year. And anytime I try to use the bathroom there, they will call the police on me. The Black American workers say, get out the bathroom, and they'll be telling me that they're going to frame me as using drugs in the bathroom. And they said they were going to kill me in the bathroom. And sometimes when they attack me like that, they'll be saying exactly. It's like some of the Black Americans, they suspected that Eric Garner was killed because he was trying to help me. And the police I killed him on a day that will be synonymous with my birthday, July 17, 1+7 equals 8, according to Bishop Jordan Ministry, a Black American church in Manhattan here, in Manhattan, New York City, I mean. So I'm always afraid to use the bathroom at the South Ferry 1 train, women's bathroom. They'll be calling the police on me. Anytime I use the bathroom, even at Staten Island Ferry, they'll be calling the police on me. So I believe this Eric Adam has been trying to get me killed as a revenge, and maybe have the money I'm supposed to be given for the police taking my home and the Bellevue Hospital killing my mother, have the money siphon off through fraudulent activity, so people can just make fraudulent claims after I'm killed and get the money. Like people can say, I was very hostile to their children or whatever, and they just don't want me to get any money because they say some Black Americans are angry that when we Africans sold their ancestors into slavery, they didn't get no reparation, their ancestors didn't get no payment. So I guess, and a lot of Black American lawyers wouldn't help me. Even I was telling Eric Garner that, that look, I've really suffered and lawyers don't want to help me. And Eric Garner told me he's going to help me, so I shouldn't worry. It got me from now on. And the simplest way I met him, I was recording him. I was under FBI surveillance then because I used to have an immigration case. So I believe the FBI must have contacted the NYPD, and between the FBI and NYPD, they decided to go kill Eric Garner at the same place where I met him, on Bay Street and Victory Boulevard. And they killed him on a day that will be synonymous with my birthday, July 17, 1+7 is 8. According to Bishop Jordan, he said God always adds number and will give the same meaning to the added number. So 1+7 will be July 8, like my birthday. So on August 28, 2025, Al Sharpton was announcing that everybody got to come to that march and march with him on Wall Street. So it's going to be very important. There's some of you that think you know this civil rights game. Yeah, you're young and you don't know nothing. So you got to listen to him as the elder. He's going to teach us how to play the civil rights game. So I didn't go to the march. Because I was afraid they were going to try to rope me in that I'm a member of a cult, and I've agreed. And I didn't want them to bring little children to the march. They'll be calling me Dada, Mama, and then maybe they'll record me. And then they'll play it in court later that I adopted their children or whatever. So I stayed away from the march. On August 28th, while I was on the A train, I tried to use the bathroom on Euclid Avenue, and the train workers surrounded the bathroom, and they were banging the door and they was harassing me. So I left the bathroom, and I told the train workers, stop harassing me in the bathroom anywhere I go. Stop trying to incite violence against me. Stop trying to call the police on me. I said, this is abuse of my right. So I got on the A train and I was telling the people on the train that, look, I'm being abused, and And everywhere I go, they don't let me use the bathroom. I'm a Nigerian. They treat me like a slave. Some people are giving me money. Then all of a sudden, this black American guy came on the train. I said, "Shut your mouth. Stop talking." I was like, "Excuse me, sir." And he came towards me and knocked me on the ground and began choking me. And Al Sharpton was also saying on his radio show that some of you think you're righteous. He said, you're not righteous. They're coming for your neck. They're coming for your neck. So I posted on Instagram. I think Al Sharpton is threatening me because the police had choked me in the past. So I thought he was talking about the police would choke me. So on August 28, 2025, when I didn't show up to the march, I guess we're going to frame me up. Then a guy came on the train, a black American guy, slammed me on the floor and choked me. And the police will not arrest that guy. So I'm being targeted for some sex trafficking, human trafficking, and baby trafficking between Eric Adam and Al Sharpton and some other criminal gangs. And this is xenophobia. The Nigerian embassy wouldn't reissue my passport. The police arrested me also in 2019, framed me up as crazy, stole my green card, stole my money. So I'm stuck on the street. Then after that, the COVID happened after July 2019 when the police arrested me, choked me, locked me up in a psychiatric hospital, stole my green card, stole my everything. So after they released me on the street, I called the Daily News, I called the New York Times. So the hospital panicked and decided to release me. I guess they weren't planning to release me. I guess they were just going to rape me in the hospital and give my sperm to somebody and create children and claim, I had fathered the child before I died in the hospital, and nobody would know, because nobody would know. I used to be a man, I'm now a woman, and the police comes into the women's bathroom, tell me you're a man, stop coming to the women's bathroom. I tell them I'm a woman, and under New York law, I'm allowed to use the women's bathroom. And even Trump became president this year, and he said he doesn't want gays in the women's bathroom anymore. So between between Trump and Eric Adam and Al Sharpton, I believe these are United States persons with authority, and I think they're all trying to undermine my lawsuit. They don't want me as a Nigerian to get any money. They would rather have the money go to Americans. So my life is in danger, and the Nigerian embassy wouldn't help me either. They said the Nigerian government is so afraid of America. They believe they need the U.S. to be issuing visas to Nigeria, because they said a lot of Nigerians that live in America send money home. They said a lot of Nigerians send $600 million a month home. Places like India, their citizens send $400 billion home. So I guess the Nigerian government is also trying to get more Nigerians to come here and send money back home. So they're helping to keep me on the street. They won't issue me my passport. When I was put in a psych ward, I called the Daily News, I called the Nigerian embassy, I called the New York Times. The Daily News said they were going to show up at the court because I said I had requested a court hearing because the hospital wasn't going to release me. And the Nigerian embassy said they were going to show up at the court to meet me also. And on the day of the court, the hospital said they're not going to let me go to court. So they're going to drive me to Manhattan and so that I wouldn't be able to make it to court. So the court wouldn't know what's going on. So on the day of the court hearing, the hospital put me in a van and drove me to Manhattan. The court hearing was in Brooklyn because I was put in the hospital in Brooklyn. NYU Psychiatric Hospital, NYU University, New York University Psychiatric Hospital, Brooklyn branch. So the hospital, they obstructed justice, because they didn't want me to tell the judge what had happened, because they had overheard the Daily News reporter tell me on the phone that they're going to show up in court and be witness to me telling the judge everything that's happened. So I guess the hospital panicked, and the other patient that were due in court, they took them to court. They said they're not taking me to court. To show they were covering up their bad action. They say in the law, a lot of times the cover up of a crime is much worse than the crime itself. So this hospital felt the best way to not get exposed as framing me up as crazy and locking me up and trying to kill me in the hospital, so they can steal my sperm and give it to women to give birth to children and claim it's mine, and nobody would know if it's really mine or not, and claim I was a fake transsexual. I wasn't really a transsexual. I was into women. I'm not into women. I'm a transsexual. I was born a male, and I'm a woman now. So this is what is going on. So on August 28, 2025, when Al Sharpton was threatening people to come to his march, to come and march. Say some of us that we don't know how to run the civil rights game. It's going to teach us. So I didn't show up to the march on August 28th. So a guy came. I believe the FBI is helping Al Sharpton and Eric Adams to pinpoint anywhere I'm at, because they said this Eric Adams used to be a police officer since the 80s, so he has a lot of friends in the FBI. And Al Sharpton also, I guess he has a lot of connection with the FBI. So they were able to, so they're using black Americans to jump me anywhere I go. So the guy came to beat me up on the train. As the march was going on, August 28, 2025, the guy choked me and was grabbing my neck, grabbing my jacket, and then he began choking me. Was going to choke me dead. So I started biting him. I bite him so hard, I think his blood was coming into my mouth. So I was trying to move his hand from my mouth, and his wristwatch fell off. So and he later left the train. So the police came after he had left, and I gave the wristwatch to the police, and I told the police to take a fingerprint off my neck and my jacket. And the police told me no, they don't need to take a fingerprint. And so they were going to lie in the police report that was just like two people fighting. So and the police misspelled my name as Bad. I said my name is not Bad. I'm not Michael Jackson Bad or whatever. I said my name is Babatunde. It's like so they were just making fun of me of being transsexual or whatever. So so that I noticed that police officer was just smiling. And a day earlier, I was using the bathroom on Chambers Street and Chambers Street and the cross street. I believe it's Chambers, on the 2 line, Chambers train station. And some black American police came to harass me, were banging on the door for no reason. And I called the police on them. Like anytime I'm trying to use the bathroom, the police will come and bang on the door, and they'll try to stop me from using the bathroom. I said that's a form of rape, because nobody has the right to try to control your anus while you're using the bathroom, externally stimulated. Anytime I'm using the bathroom, they'll come and bang on the door and order me out. I said no, the rape law has not been defined as involving anal rape. And I said any intrusion into my anus is also rape. So I was calling the police and 911 to say these police are, like the police officers did it to this guy Abdul Wimmer. They put a broom in his anus while he was in prison, and they convicted those police officers of sexual abuse, but they couldn't convict them of rape, because back then anal sex can't be used as a rape charge. But now they changed the law last year. So I've been trying to get the police arrested, because anytime I try to use the bathroom, either they kick the door open on me and scare me and say get out, and force my anus to stop using the bathroom. So they're stimulating, intruding to my anus by using force, getting controlling my anus against my will. So that's rape. And especially they're doing it with malice, because there's privacy in the public bathroom. So I called 911 on those police that they were banging the door. I didn't apologize. And that white guy that responded on August 27, 2025 was looking at me like I was crazy, and him and the supervisor, and they were acting very condescending. As a matter of fact, I went and waited for them in front of the immigration office because I was afraid. They told me to wait for them at the Chambers Street station where the police officer were arrested. I said, look, I'm afraid of those police officers. So I'll wait for you at the immigration office. And when they came to the immigration, in front of the immigration office, the police camera was recording, the immigration camera was recording, and they were looking at me so condescendingly, like I was crazy. It's like, okay, are you okay? Are you normal? I'm like, okay, stop looking at me like I'm crazy. I said, I want to file a rape charge against the police because they always harass me in the bathroom against my will. I said, you can't force your way into someone's anus, through any kind of force. I said, and they maliciously do that anytime I'm trying to use the bathroom. And they told me, no, they're not going to file any report for me, and they left. Then the next day I was on the train, and this black American guy on August 28, 2025, because I didn't attend the Al Sharpton rally, and it was threatening that people have to attend if they want to get civil rights in America. So he knows how to run the civil rights game. And I didn't show up there, and this guy choked me. And the guy was attacking me from Brooklyn, but he waited till we get to Manhattan. He said, you see, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to attack you soon. So I thought it was just, scaring me. And he waited till we got to Canal Street from Brooklyn. That's when he attacked me. And apparently, Al Sharpton knows Alvin Bragg. And Alvin Bragg doesn't prosecute people if they're black Americans and if they don't use a gun. So that was a pre-orchestrated stuff. And they said even prosecutors in America, like the Eric Garner's case, they said the prosecutor didn't invite witnesses like me and messed up the case. So I guess they they believe it's better for that black American guy to attack me in Manhattan, and maybe Alvin Bragg will help them misprosecute the case or whatever. And the police already started by not taking evidence. And now, so I kept the guy's wristwatch and the can of soda, a kind of alcohol he was drinking. I guess they must have taught him how to beat the case, make it look like he was just drunk and sorry. So he left the can of alcohol he was drinking on the floor after he beat me up and choked me, and he left his wristwatch on the floor. So I gave it to the police. The police said they don't need it either. So they were already helping him escape. So I put the wristwatch and the can of alcohol in my bag. Then ever since I've been getting followed. Then on some days ago, I believe September 4, 2025, I was so tired I fell asleep on West 23rd and 6th Avenue. I was carrying 3 bags with evidence of the guy choking me in the bag. So I noticed a white guy came around me, was scratching his booty. Some black Americans call Africans booty scratchers. And I placed my bag somewhere whereby not too close to me, a little away from me, but I was watching my bag, and this white guy came and blocked my view from me seeing the bag. And in between I was falling asleep, and when I finally woke up, some black Americans came up like rubbing their body on me. So I got up and I noticed 2 of my bags had disappeared. The bag that has all the evidence had disappeared. But there was a street surveillance camera, NYPD camera on 23rd and 6th Avenue recording everything. So I called 911. And the police wouldn't show up. They kept driving past me. So the MTA police went and parked at the bus stop where I was, where I got robbed at. So I approached the MTA police, and they drove away. Said no, they don't. The MTA police can't help me because it occurred at the bus stop. They can only help me if it occurs in the train station. I'm like, no, a bus stop is also MTA facility, and those police drove away from me. So it's like they were trying to anger me, and just get me to kill myself or something. So this is what is going on. So my life is not safe. Please, anybody watching this video, please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. I'm being used as a pawn and by international sex traffickers and local sex traffickers. And I don't know why the Nigerian government also wants me to be harmed. They won't help me either. I guess some of these people may want me to be harmed and killed, and so that my sperm can be given to people, and everybody can then claim I was a fake transsexual and I fathered so many children around the world or whatever. My mother's dead, my father's dead. So please, this is an international sex trafficking baby factory ring. So please, if anybody can donate to me, my Cash App is NYC Homeless. I'm a Nigerian transsexual. They're planning to kill me. I was born a man. I'm not a woman. They're trying to kill me and take my sperm and give it to women to have children and sue New York City and get the money for the children. Because the NYPD took my home on Staten Island wrongfully, and the Bellevue Hospital killed my mother, our daughter's straight maintenance on her, and the U.S. Immigration arrested me wrongfully in 2000. And even though I had a green card visa on my passport, the U.S. Immigration arrested me, said I didn't have a visa, and my case lasted 8 years. So I believe some of these people think it would be best to kill me and to have little children and, claim I adopted these little children or even steal my sperm after killing me and lock me up in the psych ward, because I heard there was a case in Florida. This white lady was in coma for like 10 years, and there was a black American male nurse. He had just hired him and he raped her while she was in coma, and she became pregnant. And the nursing home in Florida denied it. I didn't rape her, that she must have came into the hospital 10 years ago pregnant and delivered the baby 10 years later. But the woman's mother was still alive, and she raised awareness, and the police did a DNA test on the baby, because the baby turned out black, so they knew right away it was the male nurse that raped her. And they did DNA, and the guy's now in prison. So I guess based on that, since that case was on Court TV, they went and locked me up in the psych ward also around that time or something close to that time. So I guess the whole purpose of locking me in the psych ward is to kill me in the psych ward and steal my sperm, or claim, I want my sperm to be used to impregnate women after I die. No, I don't want to have a child. I don't have any agreement with anybody to take my sperm and have a child. It should be necropsysis, necropsy. I think having sex with a dead person, that's against the law. And under the right of sepulchre also, I can determine what I want to happen to me when I die. Even in a place like Ghana, people want to be buried in helicopters, buried in cars. And they respect that. It's called the right of sepulchre. America respects that also. Even if they feel I'm crazy, I don't want to have a child. I don't want anybody to touch my genitalia or my sperm to create a child. I'm not married to anybody. I'm not in any cult that allows anybody to rape me or adopt a child for me. I'm not a member of any religious cult. So please, I would like donations so I can get off the street and get justice, for me and my dead mother. And in case I'm killed, my estate should be administered by strangers only, people that civil rights activists like me that have not denied me help in the past. No family member or friend should administer my estate. And any proceeds from my estate should be used, or any assets from my estate should be used to get justice for me and my late mother, and the rest should be donated to charity for those suffering in Ethiopia like me, especially those being deported under Trump. So please, on Daily News, you are witness to the crime that this Eric Garden was using his police to try to beat up your Daily News reporter. And also they steal my bags. In my bag that I stole some days ago, so like September 4, 2025, I had newspapers there I hadn't read yet, like Daily News, New York Times, and they always steal my newspapers, steal any evidence from me, and they want to keep me ignorant, so I wouldn't know what is going on, because I don't have a TV. I'm homeless on the street, and they're using black Americans to carry out the second slavery. Because they say even under the first slavery, the white slave owners would allow black Americans to also be master to new arriving Africans and teach them English and whatever. So I guess this Eric Adams and this Al Sharpton, this is the role they want to play. Why they criticize Trump or whatever, they're also, orchestrating a scheme. Even this Trump has I just read online that he said he wants a baby factory, he wants a baby boom. And last year he was saying as soon as he becomes president, he's going to drill, America's going to drill and drill and drill and drill. People are going to love it. They were going to drill and drill and drill. And I thought I was like, this was like encouraging sex abuse against me, because I criticized this Trump a lot. And he also, under his administration 2019, they went and locked me up in the psych ward. And I used to beg for change on the street. I was used to Panhandle. And the head of USCIS, his name is Cuccinelli. The name Cuccinelli. And, because when I was in immigration prison, they gave me 494 in 2000. My mother brought me 494 is Mandela's prison number. And my birthday is almost like Mandela's birthday. My birthday is July 8, 1981. Mandela's birthday is like July 18, 1918. So it's like a prophet and a black American pastor, Bishop Jordan, said God always plays around with numbers like that. The numbers have significance. So something that's significant is the number 8 is a Mandela's birthday, 1918, July 18. My number 8 is repetitive in my own birthday also, July 8, 1981. And our shouting chose 8/28/2025 for his march, and he was trying to lure me to come, and he said that 8 is a spiritual number, that whatever you want to do, if you do it on that day, it's going to turn out big. Even my mother said, before I was born, prophet used to tell her that she was going to give birth to a child, and that child is going to be so famous that that's a good day to do anything. So I believe this Al Sharpton wanted me to come and march, and they could just sex traffic me, claim, I'm a member of their cult, and because he said, that we other civil rights activists, we should learn from the masters like him, and he's going to teach us how to play the game, the civil rights game. So I guess they were just trying to lure me in, and since the black Americans control the prosecutor's office, Lolita James, she goes to Al Sharpton a lot. She's the state prosecutor. Alvin Bragg is the state's Manhattan prosecutor. So I guess if anything happens to me after that march, they can claim, both prosecutors could claim we're not going to prosecute nothing. we're not going to defend this person or whatever, because we believe this person was in a religious cult with Al Sharpton, and we have given Al Sharpton permission to create a baby. So, I was afraid I was going to be assassinated if I show up in that month. And he claimed, he was telling me on his TV show that, in his podcast, that we have to submit, we upcoming civil rights activists have to submit to the to the older civil rights activists and see them as master to teach us how to do this game. So I'm not in a game with anybody. My life is not a game. My life is not a joke. I'm a serious person. Yes, when I was younger, I used to laugh. I used to I used to make people laugh as a kid. But I'm now older. My father's been killed. My mother's been killed. So there's really nothing funny. Even though sometimes I do smile, but I don't want them to turn me into a jokester. This is my life. I'm serious about it, and I don't condone any of these people sex trafficking or anybody trying to sex traffic me. I'm not a baby factory. I'm not a prostitute. So and this Eric Adam not helping me also, and he's been sending this then also he brought back the police unit that killed Eric Garner. He brought them back on July 20 this year. The quality of life police, like he's trying to create a Eric Garner 2.0. I said, he told them to target people like me. I also saw this Eric Garner around close to the immigration office. He was going to New York Law School. I said, sir, can you help me? And he walked away from me. And it's been lying that anytime he sees a homeless, he always tries to put them in housing. But it's really helping his fellow Black Americans. I've been contacting him by text, by phone, by email. This Eric Garner won't place me in housing. And he also blocked me from getting Section 8. Because I used to tell people on the train to tell the city council to pass the Section 8 for everybody on the street. They said this Eric Garner vetoed it. And they overruled his veto and he sued. Because with Section 8, because I don't have money to rent a place right now, but with Section 8, like in Texas, Dallas, I believe, they introduced Section 8 for homeless on the street, which is an housing voucher you can use to pay your rent. So this Eric Garner, I think he wants to keep me on the street and get me killed, and believe the money will be, and if I'm killed, it will be easy for fraudsters and sex traffickers to siphon off any money from my estate and, claim, I'm in a fake marriage with them, or I adopted their kid, or I'm in a cult, so I'm not in a cult, I'm not in a marriage with anybody. I don't wish to adopt anybody's kids. I don't wish anybody to make a decision over my life. I'm not a slave to anybody. And I think they're trying to tailor their scheme to, like, a white guy did the same thing. They call him the Sarah Lawrence sex cult. He was abusing women, and he claimed these women volunteered to be members of his cult and were paying him money, but he was still able to convict the guy under Biden, And back to the Turkish bribery case. So when I came out of the psychiatric hospital in 2019, I used to, around COVID time 2020, Eric Adam was still the borough president. So I used to go to a place called Park Slope, 36th Street and 4th Avenue. And some of the Turkish restaurant guys will be throwing water on me, say, get out of here, get out of here. We'll call the police on you, we don't want you in our neighborhood. So I would also call 911. It's like, why are these Turkish people trying to get me killed by the police? Like, I just came out of the psychiatric hospital, and they said, we don't want you in our neighborhood, get out of here. And they tried to start a fight with me. So I believe to make Eric Adam happy, the Turkish government wanted to kill me, use their agents to start a fight with me and get the police to kill me. And nobody would know Eric Adam. The killing was to make Eric Adam happy, because the Turkish government believed Eric Adam has connected to the U.S. government, and they wanted his connections to help them do business with America better. And I said this Eric Adam, when he became mayor, Biden administration accused him of helping the Turkish embassy get a certificate of residence wrongfully, even though the building was a fire hazard for a skyscraper the Turkish government built in Manhattan and was rented to tenants. So that's one of the things Biden arrested Eric Adam for. And also when I was put in a psychiatric lockup, Eric Adam was the borough president. And before that, anytime I go to use the bathroom, I always use the train station bathroom for customers, female customers, on Quad Street. And Eric Adam's office was across the street. And so anytime I'm using that bathroom, the police would interrupt me, won't let me finish. Like they were trying to get me angry so that I can fight them, I can beat me up. So they'll kick me out of the bathroom. So I'll go across the street, the train station, Cross Street, train station 2 train. I'll go across the street and stand in front of Eric Adams' office and I'll say, New York needs to tolerate immigrants. I'm being abused. They don't let me use the bathroom. I say in Ohio, and John just became mayor. I'll say in Iowa, they're letting undocumented immigrants get driver's license. I say New York needs to tolerate immigrants like that. So as soon after that, the police arrested me and went and locked me and choked me and went and locked me up in the psych ward. And Eric Adams was making fun of me. Weeks later, by January 20, 2020, he said, you need to go back to Ohio. You need to go back to Iowa. Say you outsiders are not going to be welcome in New York. We're not going to tolerate your speech. And back then also, people would leave graffiti in the bathrooms, like in Manhattan train station, 14th Street bathroom, say, die soon, poser. So sometimes people make fun of me that my American accent is fake. It's mixed with Nigerian accent and stuff. So these are some of the things that I'm experiencing. So this algorithm is keeping me stuck outside. I can't read the newspaper, and they told these police to be targeting people like me if we're panhandling, if we're homeless on the train. They kick me out of the train in the cold, in the rain, and I walk around in the rain, and it's like they hope I die and I get sex trafficked, and the money comes to the American citizens. So this is what's happening. We're having black Americans abusing me. I'm a Nigerian. My passport has been stolen. My green card has been stolen. Even the Nigerian government wouldn't help me. And I believe some of these people may feel, it's better for me to be killed, and my sperm and my money could be shared, and everybody would just cover it up. So the police, since my father is dead, my mother is dead, and my mother's daughters, Volani and Flora, are into all this scam that nobody would stick out for me. I've been contacting lawyers. I even told every gun before they killed them. So it's so weird. They say even a black American lawyer wouldn't help me. And he told me not to worry, that he's going to help me. And the place when I killed him right away. At the same place where I met him, So the one is to be aware, we immigrants are being abused. I'm a Nigerian, and I'm being sex trafficked. I'm being human trafficked. They're trying to rape me and create a baby. And have the baby inherit everything. And have the police kill me. I was born a male, I'm now a woman. So please, the International Criminal Court and everybody needs to take this serious. Please, Daily News, you are my witness. I called you when I was in the NYU Psychiatric Hospital around July 2019, and you told me you're going to meet me in the court, because the hospital had agreed to let me get my freedom through the court system, because they were going to keep me there forever and kill me and rape me and give my sperm to women, sell it to women to have a child and inherit everything, because they believe I wouldn't have any witness to help me. But the NYU Psychiatric Hospital didn't let me come to court because they knew you Daily News was waiting and you were going to be my witness. And since I've been calling you Daily News but you don't help me, I spoke with a guy called Parascola. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's an Italian guy, Italian American. And since then, I said this Eric Adams has been sending his police to rough up Daily News workers up, say bad things about him. And they said even a lady called Greco was giving money to journalists, $100 in a potato chips bag. And when people are asking Eric Adams, is that a bribery attempt? I believe he or that lady, Chinese lady Greco, said, that's what people do in China. They give money to journalists. It's not bribery, it's just a sign of love or whatever. So this guy's really making a fool of everybody. And Thomas Dolan, former police commissioner, said it's using the NYPD for business to make money and all kinds of fraud. They said the Africans that sell stuff on Canal Street, Eric Adams will send his police to seize their property, seize like $1 billion worth of stuff from these Africans and beat up these Africans. Even when I try to use the bathroom close to that Canal Street where they attack the Africans, the first precinct would try to set me up, arrest me in the bathroom, kill me in the bathroom. They're working with the nannies, sometimes to harass me in the bathroom. They would abandon little babies by the door, and the nannies would go and hide in the bathroom stall, lock the door. And I tell them, look, you can't abandon the child. The child has to be looked after, monitored, constantly. And I'll call the police, I'll call the park police, and they'll tell me to take it easy. I should just ignore it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to ignore a crime. I don't want nobody leaving their baby around me unattended. So they've been creating problems around me everywhere. There's another bathroom I use, Washington Market Park. Now they've locked up the women's bathroom there. They locked up the whole park for 3 months since they wanted to replant the grass. I'm like 3 whole months to replant the grass. Now they reopen it, lock up the women's bathroom. So they're trying to make it hard for me to find a bathroom to use, and they want me to go to a hot spot, where the police can easily harm me and stuff. So now they're locking up the women's bathroom, calling the police on me everywhere, and they're just trying to incite violence against me and have me killed and make it look like I had mental illness. I believe they feel if they kill me and make it look like I have a mental illness and I die while fighting with the police, then they could extend the statute of limitation. Because, for example, the immigration arrested me wrongfully in 2000. I had a green card stamp in my passport, and U.S. immigration arrested me wrongfully in 2000. So now it's too late to sue them. It's 25 years already. So I believe some of these schemers want me to die hard. Because that would help them go to court and claim I was crazy. I was fighting the police, fighting everybody for 25 years. And the court, I was so crazy. They have to waive the statute of limitation. That's why I couldn't file any lawsuit. So they really want me to die hard. Even the Nigerian embassy, they want me to die hard. They promised to help me, and they wouldn't give me nothing. I send them messages all the time, almost on a daily basis. Call them since they promised to help me. When I was in the psychiatric hospital, and they don't respond. Sometimes when I'm talking to them on the phone, they hang up the phone. It's like they just want me to go and die hard. So this is cruelty. Africans are being treated like slaves. And this Trump said he wants there to be a baby boom. And he's been saying, it's going to drill when it becomes, while he was campaigning for presidency last year. And I even contacted is the judge handling his case. I believe the judge's name is Dale O. I'm not really sure. And I said they shouldn't pardon him. They should put him in prison because he was convicted for 34 charges last year, but the judge pardoned him. So now he's been retaliating against me. As soon as he became president this year, he said the police shouldn't let gays use the women's bathroom. So I guess they're trying to force me into the men's bathroom so that they could kill me later and claim, look, I wasn't a real transsexual. I was just faking it. I always use men's bathroom. I'm a real man, and they even steal my sperm and claim, there was nothing transsexual about me. I was just faking it, and I used the real men's bathroom. And if after I get killed, every woman gets pregnant, through my sperm stolen in death or whatever, they'll claim, I must have had sex with this woman before dying. I must have known I was gonna die. I started having sex with women, So I believe they think, because people don't really care about one another in America, so they believe nobody will care. So please, world, under the whistleblower law, please, the press in the United States, please stand up for me. Let's let go of any xenophobia. Even though some people may be averse to allowing a foreigner come here and get justice and maybe get taxpayers' money, but please, in the interest of justice, please let's stop any xenophobia. So it's been 25 years. I can't get a lawyer. I can't get justice. Please, I need to go to court. I need to tell them to waive the statute of limitation due to the excessive abuse. I'm not crazy. I'm not, but the court can also waive the statute of limitation and allow me to file a late lawsuit against the immigration, against the NYPD, against the Bellevue Hospital. So, I've been getting attacked by criminals, sex traffickers, and stuff, and this is what has delayed me. So please, I need justice. Most important, I want to go to school. So please, I appreciate any donations to my Cash App, $NYC Homeless. Thank you.